Here we are ready for lesson 12 on appearance attributes and graphic styles. This one of course has already been set with what we need on the back end, but this would be a document for a web site. So we're going to look at how you would set that up if you created a new document. Where it says document profile, you would choose web right there instead of the other one, so it would be set up properly. Of course, this one is already done, so we don't have to worry about it. But that's what you would do if you were setting up a new one that you wanted to use on the web. We have stroke attributes and fill attributes that we're going to be working with in this chapter. The same thing is true as we learned a few chapters ago, that if you put a filter result on, you can't edit that, but if you put a appearance attribute, you can edit it. We're going to start with this star in this bottom corner. You'll need to have your appearance panel open and also your layers panel open. Open up the star button panel, that's the one we're working on, and you'll notice that we already have some appearance things added up here for that star. Also, we need to have the transparency panel open, so I'm going to open that one over here. Change it from normal to multiply. And the opacity, or just change that to multiply. Let me undo that. I did not have the right thing selected. Have this stroke line selected when you change it from normal to multiply. And then we want to really look at this one. So we can see this star a little bit better. Okay, so that's the one we want to have selected. From the appearance panel, we're going to go to this menu and say Add New Stroke. And be sure that the RGB is chosen over here in the color palette. And the stroke is going to be 255 and 73 and 0. And then this other stroke, or this stroke, we're going to make into a 2-point. And then move the 6-point stroke above the 2-point stroke. With the stars still selected, we are going to open up the graphics panel. So if you don't have it open, you can go to Window and Graphics panel, or Graphic Styles. We want to take that style that we have created for the star, and we're going to move it down in there. Now I found when I tried to just drag it in, as the book shows, it did not work. But if I clicked on Save New Graphic Style, new graphic style up here, and this is going to be called Star Glow, and OK, and then you'll see that it's changed there. So that put a graphic style in here that we can then add other places. It wants us to go kind of clear everything out. So if you go into Windows Workspace, and I believe yours says Panel, mine says Essentials, it just kind of puts everything away. So we're going to open back up the Appearance panel. So we need that one here. We still have our star selected. Be sure when you do this step, we do not have anything selected, so it should say no selection here. And then we want to, with our no selection, clear all appearances, so we have a blank one. So what we're going to be doing is actually creating a new appearance. Go into the Effect menu, down to Stylize, and drop Shadow. We want this to be 7 pixels. Whoops, because I typed it wrong. 7px. 7px. Must have typed that one wrong too. And 5px. And then our color we're going to change to these numbers, 215, 65, and 4. Everything else I believe is the same. Well, the darkness is supposed to be 100%, but we're going to have it on our color. So click OK, and that creates a drop shadow in this no selection. To add that to our graphic styles, we're going to create a new one, new graphic style, and you can see it brought in this one we were working on, and we're going to call this one Drop Shadow Style. I'll just call it Drop Shadow. So now we have a drop shadow that we can add to something else. So we're going to be working on this planet next. So this layer, you might want to open up your Layers panel again, because we need to see this planet button layer. What we want to do is to add that graphic style that we just created up here to that layer. So here's the drop shadow, and I'm going to put it on that layer that was selected. So you can see it added the drop shadow. Now with the color tab, we're going to add a new color with the numbers 129, 23. Whoops, I didn't need to do that. I don't want to have that one selected when I change my colors. I just need a new color. Okay, nothing is selected. Here we go. 129, 23, and 136. So this is kind of a new pinkish color. And we're going to use our star over here. We do need to still be on this layer. Well, this layer's got the drop shadow, so we'll put it on that layer. I'm going to grab my star, which should have that color, and do just a few little stars about along the side. want that one put on those as well. So we want the drop shadow on all of these paths. Whoops, I don't know what happened to that one. I lost my fill. There we go. And then add the drop shadow to each one of those. If you want to look on page 352, it'll show you what these little circles on the layers indicate, whether it has, groups of things added together or the appearances or whatever is added there. The moon over here is the next object that we have to deal with. And we're first of all going to click it and then select the color that is called Moon Gradient to fill it with. In the Layers panel, we're going to open it up. And it's asking for a graphic style that I did not have with my file called Green Relief Style. And so what I ended up doing was selecting this background and creating a new graphic style with this one. It's probably not exactly what it had before, but it has to work. So then I go back to the layer up here and apply that graphic style to it, and it just changes it a little bit. Go back to the planet button layer. We're going to take our text tool and type the word start. Select it all, and we want to make it 36 points. And Myriad Pro is what is chosen. Looks like I need to make my box a little bit bigger. And then we're going to just line it up with the planet. So shift click to get both of them selected. And you have your align tools here. So it lines it up. And then just have the words selected. And we're going to add a graphic style from one of the libraries. We haven't really looked at the libraries yet. We shall do this little open menu area, open the graphic style library, and we're going to do the neon effects. And it wants us to select this thin violet neon, which adds really a cool effect to the text. The word star up here at the top, if you'll select that layer, star type, which was selected all. And this one doesn't really turn out the way it shows it in the book. It asks you to put on the moon gradient, which is fine. But then under the transparency palette, it wants us to change it from normal to soft light. And when I do that, it makes it way too light. If you look in the book on page 355, it's got a little more color than that. So I've tried a couple of the others, but none of them really give the effect as much as what the book has. But now it could be, maybe your soft light will work since I have a different version. This lighten worked pretty good. Okay, now we're going to look at dragging an effect that we already have to, let me get this out of the way, to something else. So I've got the star selected so that I will see that appearance, and then click on it, and I can drag it to something that is not selected. The book actually shows that you are able to literally just drag it from here to that shape. I couldn't get it to work that way. However, if I opened the star layer and found the effect there, I could drag it over and place it on there. Doesn't bring in the fill like it would if you had all of it selected, but we're going to change it anyway. The other one is to take a graphic style and drag it over, and that does come over. Whoops, I had the wrong thing selected. I'm going to drag this and put it on this one. So it doesn't look exactly like it's supposed to, but that's okay. The last thing that it talks about is being able to delete a style. I'm going to close that one back up and open up my planet button. And all of these have an effect, and it wanted you to see what would happen if you were to drag part of the effect away. See, the drop shadow was on that, so we could actually take care of that and get rid of it. Alright, you are finished with this one, and you will do a short exploring on your own on page 357.